Hello YouTube, welcome back to Steel Bear Academy. My name is Jonathan. Today I'm going to be cleaning a Springfield XD9. This is the base model XD. Alright, first things first, we'll just make sure our gun is unloaded. So we need to drop our magazine. We need to rack our slide, make sure there's nothing in the chamber, lock it open, finger in the chamber, finger in the mag well. No rounds in the chamber, no rounds in the gun. Gun's empty. Make sure that there's no ammunition in your vicinity. Notice how we've got our cleaning supplies set up. I've got an old t-shirt as our wiping and also our tablecloth. I've got a old toothbrush. I've got a brass brush that we're going to use in combination with our cleaning rod. Go ahead and put that on there. We've also got a eyelet or like a hoop that we're going to use with our cleaning rod as well. And we've got some patches. These are dirty patches, but we'll use them anyway because this is what I've got left. I've been cleaning a few guns here. And we have our CLP. This is ballistol. It's going to come in, obviously not one of these, but it's going to come in. This is ballistol. It's a CLP, a cleaner, lubricant, and protectant. So it is all in one. So it cleans and lubricates and protects. It does all the stages all at once. You could also get Hoppy's number 9, which is like 2-stage. It's cleaning, and then once you've cleaned it all off, then you lubricate with oil. So it's 2 stages. This is all in one, just one and done. Just let it dry and it will be your lubricant and protectant once it's done being your cleaner. Okay? You could use anything you want. You could use whatever gun cleaning solvent you want, but that's the one that I use. Okay, so let's take our gun apart first. Make sure our gun's empty. Now the way you take this gun apart is you're going to rotate the takedown lever up like this, like so. Then you're going to slowly let the slide down. And then it should come, looks like we might need to dry fire it. And then it comes right off. Okay. Got our frame here. Now we're going to push forward on the recoil spring to get it off of the barrel. Pull it up. It'll come off like that. Then you can take your barrel out. Just pull it up and out. Okay. Now we got it all disassembled. We'll start with our frame here. There's not much that has to be done, but let's apply a little bit of ballistol to our brush here. And actually, before we move, we'll start with the barrel so that it can have time to do its thing. So we're just trying to get some oil, some salt, some CLP on every single part of the barrel because it's all needs to be cleaned. We'll even apply a little bit of ballistol. Notice how I'm keeping a finger on the end of the barrel here and then just going to go back and forth a couple times and we should have a bunch that dribbles out, which is good. We can let that dribble onto the slide if we want. We'll do a little bit of wipe on our recoil spring here. Do a little wipe on the slide. We're trying to make sure that we don't get any oil into the striker channel, which is this opening right here. There's this part of it that is open, and then there's the back side of it, or there's the front portion, which is that little circle, that little the hole where the firing pin comes out of. That's the other side of this channel. So we want to make sure we don't get oil down in there. So just have gravity help you and do a little wipe, applying oil on all these surfaces. I keep saying oil, it's CLP, but it will become oil. So we're just getting a little oil on all these surfaces. Maybe take your wet toothbrush and remember from here down, like so. We're trying to avoid getting oil in the upper portion in that channel. I can see that there's a nice little buildup of carbon at the very front bottom corner of there. So I'll do a little spray of CLP in there. And right now we're not doing so much scrubbing as we are just applying. We're applying that CLP. And then from here, we're trying to get into these slide rails. So the rails on the slide here. Same thing on this side. Okay. Get into that. I forget what this part is called. It's got a name, but I forget. I'll try to write it in there. And then from here, we're going to turn this upside down and we're going to brush this way so we don't get oil into that striker channel. Okay. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna do a little bit of horizontal brushing, trying to get any carbon off of that little nudge, that little nub right in there. Okay. All right, so we got a nice little application of oil all over. Let's do our frame now. We're just looking to get any of this kind of build up. We'll just kind of do a little brushing everywhere. Nice little brushing. Let's see, I think I can, I guess I can't turn this down when their slide is not on. It's interesting. Give it a little brush all over. And that looks pretty good. We'll give it a little wipe down. So mainly what I'm looking to wipe down is the rails is the main thing that I want to wipe down. And just if there's any like kind of pockets of where carbon would get stuck and build up, give it a little wipe in there as well. A little wipe down on the outside. Oh, my finger has peeked through. That means my glove is no longer gloving. So let's get another glove. I think I have one more out here. All right. Now, you know, what's the worst that would happen about this if I didn't wear a glove? It would just mean that my hands are going to get a little drier, and I don't like that. So save some lotion for myself and put some gloves on. That's what I'd recommend. Okay. All right, so our barrel has been soaking for a little bit, so let's put a little bit of balisol onto this brush. This is a 38 caliber brush, which is roughly the same as 9mm, which our gun is chambered in. They're roughly the same diameter. And we're gonna go from chamber side to muzzle side. So I'll kind of guide the brush in there, and then I'm going to slowly press it all the way through. It'll pop out. Try to make sure that you don't get a little too overzealous and run your hands into the barrel. That would be painful. Okay. This glove is way colder than the other one. All right. So at this point, here's a suggestion. So some people, they just like take the end of this brush off so that they don't actually have to run the brush backwards through the bore. I am not particularly concerned about that. I think the reason why people do this is because they don't want to get dirt and debris back up through the bore. I guess there's some reasoning to that, but I'm not too concerned. I'm not too concerned with that. I don't feel like it ever does anything bad to go all the way through and all the way back. Now, I could see you don't want to go halfway through and then right here change direction and pull out. That would be damaging your brush bristles. So I go all the way through, all the way out, all the way through, all the way out. And we're just going to go quite a few times. Okay. There's a thing about gun cleaning that you can be as meticulous as you want, but at some point you're going to get diminishing returns of, yeah, you made your gun spotless, but was that really necessary? Probably not. Okay, just going to try to get some brushing on all these little corners inside the lug area. We'll brush the feed ramp. That's this shiny portion right here. Well, it will be shiny in a second once I wipe off this carbon. All right. Now we'll do a little wipe down. It's harder to tell when your gun is clean on a black gun, but it does look better when it is dirty. But it's nice and clean on the outside. Okay, looks pretty good. Now we need to check to see if our barrel is clean and also to get any excess out of there. When I'm looking through the barrel right now, it looks nice and shiny. So let's be sure. Let's take a patch. We'll change our cleaning rod to the hook or the eyelet attachment. Then we're going to thread our patch through just like a needle. Oops, I threaded it too far. Let's try again. We'll use our other finger. This is where having the gloves is actually a disadvantage, but we got it. There we go. Don't pull it all the way through. Now this is a 22 caliber cleaning rod, and this patch could be larger. So I'm going to kind of bundle it up like this. And then we're going to bundle it up and we're going to press it through. Quite a bit did come off. You can see all that grime. We'll go back through again. I'll take a look down the bore. There's still a little bit of flecks of carbon and whatnot in there. So let's do one more pass through. Okay. All right, so I did one more pass through, and now let's do one more pass through with a patch. This one's a little cleaner. Now, I just don't have any more patches, so that's why I'm not using clean ones, but I also don't want to go ahead and cut this t-shirt up. Not because I want to use this t-shirt again, but just I got quite a few guns here to clean, so. All right, let's do one more pass through. Yeah, a lot came off on that one. Do one more bunching it up. Looks pretty nice. There's still a few little drops here and there. I think that is going to come out if I take another patch. I'm not sure if I have one though. So that's the thing. I don't know if I have any more patches. Oh, what's this? Ew. That's not a patch. Okay, well, I don't have any more patches, so I am not going to take my gloves off and cut off some shirt at the moment, but you know, I would just keep running clean patches through until it comes out nice and clean. And, you know, it doesn't have to be perfectly clean. The inside of your bore doesn't have to be perfectly immaculate. You're not eating off of it. And particularly on this gun, I'm not sure if this gun is chrome lined. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. But on guns that are chrome lined, by golly, you don't need to worry about that at all. But just a couple more runs through. Let's take a look here. Okay, I think my patches are actually making it dirtier, so we'll do one more pass through with the brush, and then we will call it good. There's definitely a point of diminishing returns on trying to get things clean, where sometimes your tools that you're using are actually the limiting factor. But I'm not too worried about that. This is going to get dirty again in like a week anyway, so. All right, let's see. That looks good. Good enough. Okay, now let's finish up on our slide here. We did a pretty good job of scrubbing in there, so we'll just do a wipe down now. You can see what it looks like in there for right now. It's just wet and oily. Again, it's hard to tell where the carbon is on these, so if you had like a white t-shirt, this would really show up. You know, you'd really get to see how much you're wiping away. Let's see, I'll try to stop and see. Yeah, I mean, you can't hardly tell the difference. I do see that right in here, in this hole here, we have quite a bit of buildup, as well as kind of in these corners here. I don't know if I have a particularly perfectly designed tool for cleaning that, but we'll find what I have. I'm gonna try this brass brush first. Just do a little wipey in there. You want to be careful with these brass brushes, not because of the gun, but because it's very easy to like break these brass brushes, the bristles, and they're not free. They're not free, that's for sure. But Sometimes it is the right tool for the job. And maybe we will take a little corner of our shirt here and use that to get up and into these spots here. And then give it a little wipe. That's not bad. That'll do. All right, let's see the corners here. So I'm looking in these corners of the slide here. Not too bad. Do one more wipe. If I had a flair for being meticulously clean on this gun, like if this was my carry gun, then I would probably take some sort of pick, like a plastic pick. I think I have some in here somewhere. I'm sure I've bought some of those at some point, but like a pick or a ballpoint pen without the ink, and kind of take like stick it through like this and use that as my cleaning tool. That would be a good way to clean out these little corners. But this will be all right. Give it a little wipe down all over. Wipe off that excess oil on the outside. Okay, so when I'm looking at this slide, here's some areas that I'm noticing that could be cleaner. They're not going to get cleaned today, but these are areas that you'll want to be aware of. So this is the extractor. That's that little hook right here. Not sure if you can see it, but that little hook right here that I'm hooking onto, that little hook is what holds your rounds in place while they are being moved into and out of the chamber, and the rounds go up and underneath that when you're feeding rounds into your chamber. Anywho, this extractor has a long arm here, I see, and there's like a little space here that is getting buildup inside of that little channel that arm is resting in. So I can see that it needs to be cleaned in there, but that would require taking out the extractor, which I am not familiar with on how to do on this gun offhand. You know, it's very easy to find it out, but I just am not familiar with it at this moment. So that's an area where this gun will need to be cleaned at some point in there. Additionally, I can see that on the extractor, on the hook itself, there's like a part back here that is accumulating carbon, and so that would be an area that you would also want to clean at the same time. You know, when you take this extractor out, make sure you clean in that little area right here. Not sure if it comes up on camera, but right in there's a little area that has some definite carbon buildup. We've also got this loaded chamber indicator that you want to make sure has no carbon built up under it. I think it looks pretty good. And I feel pretty good about how clean it is for my purposes. All right, so at this point, let us lubricate it. So I'm gonna do it this way this time. I'm gonna take my barrel and put it back into the gun. Well, before we do that, let's lube the barrel up a little bit. So what we're looking for is we're trying to get lube on any of these locking surfaces. So basically anywhere where you see wear, you know, here's some wear, here's some wear, here's some wear. On this little notch right here is wear, and around the barrel right here. All these places where you have wear, you're gonna get a little bit of oil. Rub your hands, get that oil slipping all up in there. Okay. And that looks pretty well lubricated. We'll do a little lubrication on this one as well. This one I would just wipe down. I think we didn't wipe this one down, but we'll just wipe it. I don't remember actually, but that's okay. You can always over clean it. There's no downside in over cleaning it. All right, now let's take our barrel. We'll shove it into the slide. Okay. Now this is an important thing. This gun actually you can put this gun together wrong in a way that makes the gun inoperable, which I have done. So I want to be careful of that. This is interesting. I see that the finish is getting all coming off of the recoil spring assembly. Interesting. All right, so we'll take our spring and push it in right here. Let's see, we'll make sure. All right, so I guess it looks like it goes this way. Looks to me like it would go this way, okay? Yep, and I can tell because it sticks all the way out, so this is important. You could put it together this way. And let's see if I can get it to close. No, I can't. It's stronger of a spring that way. Very hard to do. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm just compressing this spring and pushing it this way and then down to get it caught onto this little ledge here, like so. Okay. Looks good. Just double check it because I have put this gun together wrong to the point where it made it inoperable, so looks good. All right, now we're going to, I remember, we're gonna put a little bit of oil onto the slide rails. So I'm gonna start the oil down here, lower than this entry into the striker channel. We're gonna start it down here on both sides. We don't need a lot, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Oops, I missed the, all right, so you see how that oil is moving now. That's good. We just want to let gravity help us. One little drop there, one little drop there. Gravity is now helping us. We'll let gravity do its thing. Okay. Now let us put the slide back onto the rails. So make sure it slides onto the rails like so. Give it a little shimmy past the ejector right here. Give it a little shimmy. Now we need to lock the slide back. I think you have to have this grip safety depressed. Let's see. Yep, you do have to have the grip safety depressed. Lock it open by pushing up on the slide lock, and now we can swipe this lever down. And now, let's make sure the gun works. Looks like it works. Great. The mag, I wouldn't worry too much about that. Just a little wipe down on the outside and a little wipe with your towel. Put a little rub on the follower a little bit so we get any buildup off there. Let's do a final wipe down to try to get some of this excess oil off. Now I know my gloves are oily too, so this is a little bit of an exercise in futility, but just a little wipe down. And there it goes. Looks pretty good. All right, so this is how to clean your Springfield XD9, and we'll clean up and we'll put our gun away. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.